I am working with Aunt Beck at AuntBecscreations, and this is her most recent stream where she is doing some borders and a pocket letter ATC for week 9. We start out doing the borders. Now, she did border 1 of robots, but I was still setting up my camera. So the second one that she did were bears, and you can see I drew some bears in there, but I have to go back because she's moving on to the third one, which are seagulls. And she draws a few, and then she goes to the next one. The third one are turtles, and then I have a little bit of time, so I go up there and start drawing some more robots. You can see I work on the borders as I can, just to get them completed. I go to the robots, to the bears, to the turtles, to the seagulls. And the next one that I work on are paintbrushes. Those were fun to do. Of course, every artist loves paintbrushes. Filling in the turtles and seagulls and bears. My bears get better as I go across the page. Music notes. Those are pretty easy. Not hard to do the music notes. And an alphabet, a dot letters, where you put a dot every place on the letter where the lines join together. And the last one are jelly beans. Yeah, I really have fun doing these borders every week with Aunt Beck. It's just fun. They're little doodles, and they just inspire you to do different things in your journals. Yeah. The bears, I have to laugh at the bears. My first bear looked like a cow calf. And the second one got a little better. And finally, by the last one, he didn't look half bad. He looked like a little bear walking across the page. But he had to evolve into a cute little bear. The robots, because I was still setting up my camera, I couldn't follow along with Aunt Beck. So I just filled in with little boy and girl robots across the page. So those are really fun to do. Then we moved along to the pocket letter swap, where we're doing her Dirty Dozen Art Prompt Challenge, and we're cutting up into ATCs. I like to mark off my ATCs, so I have an idea where they'll fall on my page. She gives us 4 alternate prompts. On this one, it was use black, write a positive word or phrase, use metallic paint, or doodle with different markers. So here I'm just marking off my ATCs, and I start doodling. The first prompt was flowers. We have flowers just about on every prompt this summer. I don't know what's with all the flowers. Now, these are flowers. Somebody asked me if they were palm trees. I'm going, well, I guess they do kind of look like palm trees, but I think if you'd hold one of these flowers up and just kind of look at it, it'd look like a mini palm tree. So, all right. Then the next prompt was add fiber or lace, and I have this sunflower burlap ribbon that Petals and Dreams sent to me, so I added that. That was fun. The next prompt was drip paint down the page. Oh no, it was add gesso. And I don't use too much white gesso, and I didn't want to dig it out, so I just scraped some blue paint on each ATC. I kind of know where I'm going with this. The next prompt was drip paint down the page, so I decided to drip this yellow paint down my page, and it got really wet. I mean, I squirted this page with so much water, it was just saturated. And I got a lot of paint on the table, so I just wiped it up on the back, and I really liked the effect that it did on the back. But I have a lot of dry time. You can see in here I have a lot of dry time on this page. The page was just saturated. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to finish. Oh dear. The next prompt was stencil with white, and I put a hold on that prompt because I just needed to dry my page. It was very, very wet, and I do go back and put white stenciling on it. I have to repair some of the places where the ribbon is kind of pulling up because it wasn't totally dry when I saturated it with water, and I have to do that several times, but eventually it gets dry enough to continue working on. Now, the next prompt was add metallic paint. Yeah, I decided to add bronze on everything. I usually go for the gold, but I wanted bronze. I'm thinking the Dog Days of Summer Bronze. And I add that every place, and I really like the effect. You can't see it too well, but I do like how it's pretty transparent. You can see my doodles and my scrapes of paint behind it. I'm having to repair that ribbon several times because that water just saturated it. Eventually it gets dry enough and sticks down though. So the next prompt was add gold, and I just added metallic bronze. The prompt was actually for the bronze was add napkin, and I didn't want to add a napkin. So here I am adding gold. You can't see it very well, but it adds a little sparkle and shine, just kind of touches up the page a little, drying it off real good. Eventually it gets dry. The next prompt was doodle, and I go back in and I outline all those flowers again with my black marker, just to pop them out a little bit more. And you can see I do that on each ATC. Get them all done. They're all right side up except the one in the top left corner. It's upside down, but when I cut it off I turn it right side up, so they're all right side up after I cut them all apart. Now the next prompt was dots and dashes, but I went ahead and held it. I'm going to put those on the back, and I'm marking off where the ATCs should land on the back. That just gives me sort of an idea when I cut it where I'm going to be cutting at. And I just mark off. I get 16 ATCs on this page. The next prompt was add a water-soluble medium, and I have this beautiful kind of a mauve pink, that art spray that Mitzi sent me, and I just love it. I love what it did on the back. It's really wet again, and I'm having to do some dry time, but I love what happened to it so much that I went ahead and sprayed it on the front too. Yeah, I work on both the back and the front when I work on these larger papers, or smaller papers with 12 prompts. Yeah, I need more paper space, so I just flip it over and put some of those prompts on the back. Yeah, I'm loving what's going on with this now. I'm really liking what's happening to it. There was a prompt that said add one or more owls, and I decided to add black. I put a hold on it. Let's see, what do I do here? Looks like I'm getting ready to sponge something. Oh, I'm going back to my stencil with white now. And there's kind of this chicken wire dots and lines prompt. And that just adds a little pop to the page. A little white kind of brings it out. The last prompt was add splatter. And I do get out my black paint, and I splatter with black paint. Now at this point I'm kind of at the end of the session, and I work on these more the next morning during my live stream.